So I was in the AI Impact Summit today, and I came across a very interesting startup called Xanadu Studio AI. And just by seeing the videos here, I thought that's a real movie going on. But then the founder told me that it's actually created by AI. So I do have the founder with me now, and his name is Saumil Gandhi. So hi Saumil, how are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
So, Saumil, can you tell me about your startup for the non-initiated? What it is about? How does it matter? And who is it exactly for?
Sure. So, Xanadu Studio is an AI filmmaking company, and what we've done is we've built our own AI media stack, and for two purposes. I think what we realize in the market is that there are a lot of softwares available which can generate maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds of very visual, very creative content. But that's not production grade. That's not monetizable content. So, if you want to create ads for large brands, say a Godrej or a Tata, if you want to create shows, if you want to make movies, then those tools are not going to work right now. And we've spent about 8 or 9 months making that stack, and we've come to a point where we're able to actually produce very, very authentic, what we call hyper real cinema, so that the content we make passes what we call the digital Turing test, which means that whatever media is created, you cannot make out whether a human being made it or a machine made it. That's our goal. We made our first 20-minute film in Hindi, which has not been done before. It's called The Scarecrow. It is going to be released on 15th March. We're showing the trailer at the India AI Summit. And that movie shows us what is really capable with authentic, relatable, emotional AI.
So you are saying about having the quality which is very hyper real. So can you just share like how are we defining hyper real? Like I mean, if we see AI videos today, I mean, if even a layman can say, yeah, it's AI. So how is Xanadu Studio AI differentiating from there? Like, what kind of nuances are you creating in your video output, which is like differentiating you from the rest?
Yeah, I think I may not be able to share too much about how we are doing it, but I'll give you some examples or challenges that we have solved to make it hyper real. So when you're watching movies, say in India, for example, Hindi is such a big requirement for us, right? And most of the online models are not trained on Hindi languages because they are models by companies like Anthropic or like OpenAI or Google, which are foreign models. So the quality of training is low. So that's one problem we have solved or we're in the process of solving. Second is, of course, consistency of characters. When you make a long film for about 60 minutes, then the actor has to look the same in every scene. Now, that's not possible with online models. So, we've solved that problem. For filmmakers, things like lighting and sound are extremely important. How do you make that consistent? How do you keep worlds or environments consistent? So, those are the kind of things we are solving so that when the final product comes together, that is hyper.
So let's say we have like comparison of something generated like a video generated by Sora and something generated by Xanadu Studio AI. So I mean, I was talking about the end user experience. What kind of nuances can I notice? Let's say an image of a person walking by a farm. I can easily say that it's made by Sora because it looks a bit fake. Like the skin quality and everything is so like clear. Like it's not like it doesn't have those nuances which a human face might have. So how is like what kind of experience can we see from Xanadu?
So, good question. Actually, to be honest, if you use Sora and if you use it correctly, and this is important, if you use Sora correctly, you will get a video which you cannot make out is real or not. So, I'll of course, because it's an amazing model, we know that it's an amazing model. The challenge is that that is not monetizable because you cannot make money out of a 30-second fun video. What is monetizable for businesses is when you're making long form content. Now, when you make long form content, then all the synthetic textures, all the faces becoming different, that a person is on a bike and then it cuts to a different shot. And when you come back to the person on the bike color has changed. Those things you cannot control with Sora. That's what we have. So,
So there's an argument that any person who's a creative in the field, a filmmaker, they might say that okay, now AI is making, AI is gonna outsmart us in a decade or so, or like even faster, like in 2 3 years. So, what's your counter argument to that? So that that both can exist, or is it like a coexistible ecosystem according to you?
absolutely. The name Xanadu comes from a reference from one of the greatest films ever made, like Citizen Kane. It comes from there. So, I'm a film buff. I think that filmmakers who use AI will replace filmmakers who don't use AI, but AI will not replace any filmmaker. It's very important. Before Steven Spielberg made Jaws, there was no concept of a shark film, and now it's a genre by itself. That's because human beings can create. AI is not creative, AI dependence is highly dependent on what has learned from the past. So that is never going to create new ideas, which means no machine is going to be able to generate a new thought. At least not currently. Of course, we're talking about AGI. We're talking about a point where where machines can create. Till that happens, I don't think that's going to happen. And even after that, filmmaking, I think, is a different beast. So I have no doubt that filmmakers with AI will rule, but not AI itself.
So there are like different kinds of filmmaking styles. Like a Tarkovsky can be different from a Kurosawa, and a Kurosawa can be different from a Wim Wenders. So are there like some kind of tailor-made prompts to have that kind of color palette, that kind of screen quality, or like the color they are using in their films? Um, I can't remember the technical word for it right now, but is there some prompts like that in Xanadu Studio AI?
So Xanadu Studio is not a tool that is given to the outside users right now. It's a product that is being used internally. And yes, we have built a library of a lot of interesting prompts to control some of the things you mentioned in terms of color toning or angles or visuals or how you want a frame to look like. So we have done that. That's not the biggest challenge. It's a good thing to have. That's not the biggest challenge. Today, if you go on Twitter, you can easily get a lot of prompts for things like that. So I don't think that's the challenge. I think what Xanadu is doing is it's putting filmmakers and AI engineers in one room and saying that let's create movies, but let's not do shooting. Let's do it through computers, and that can only be done when the filmmaker asks for something, and the AI engineer delivers it with AI. So that combination of what is required and how to deliver has to be in one room together. That's what Xanadu does.
What are some challenges you're facing while growing this startup? Because AI is something new still, and there is a lot of resistance in the industry. I'm probably assuming that in the film industry also. So, what are some challenges you're facing, and how do you plan to overcome it? What's your strategy?
So see, there is resistance because change is disruptive. We all get threatened by it, and that's quite fair. At the same time, every industry has people who are open to new ideas, and we've seen that. So I'm not concerned about the business challenges because we are already doing work for a lot of brands and ads, and I think that itself is opening up people's thoughts and minds. कि ये कर सकते हैं. There is a little bit of a fear in the film industry itself because it changes the way they've been operating. I think they need to see proof that good content can be made. Number one. Number two, they need to believe that they can also do it. So Xanadu is here not to replace them, to help them. So I think we will try and get that fear out of them. And number three, and it's very important, the biggest challenge we face is of talent because there are almost no filmmakers who know AI and there are no AI engineers who know filmmaking. And that combination is very important for the future of AI cinema. That skilling and uptraining and whatever we have to do, that's a big challenge for us.
How did you get your first users? Like, what was your approach like? Because such a new industry, how did you crack the code there?
We haven't. So with ads, it's not new because there have been people wanting to do ads, brands keen to do ads. It's not a very new story, and this is our quality was very good. Previously, the founders have extensive experience background working with agencies and in the media business. So we already had access, and so that is an easy business to crack. The challenge is coming up now. Can we do a feature film with say a Netflix? Can we do a show for Amazon Prime or Hotstar? I think that's the challenge. And the reason we've made this 20-minute Hindi film called The Scarecrow, it's a completely AI based film. It is to show people that you can make these people, the production houses, the studios, the platforms, authentic cinema can be created. If they believe that, if they're convinced by it, and they give us our first project, which I'm hoping will happen in the next 2 months, then I think we've cracked the challenge.
And any kind of tip which you would like to give budding startup entrepreneurs, or how to grow, or any kind of growth hack which you have, any kind of takeaway?
I think your generation is super smart, super clued in. I really don't think that somebody who's 40 plus is going to give any information or knowledge to somebody who's in this incredible learning curve and that's happening in their lives. So I can only speak from experience that the biggest asset you can have right now is your ability to learn new things, to ability to adapt to new things. I think if you ingrain that in yourself, everything else will happen.
Okay. One last question, because you mentioned about adaptability. There's this kind of two school of thoughts to it, that AI is also a boon, but AI is also like, there's a lot of pessimism about it, like it will take away jobs and something. So how what is your optimism with AI, where it would lead, like, and with Xanadu Studio AI, what future are you envisioning with Xanadu Studio AI, and what are your fears with your industry?
No, I think it'll democratize filmmaking, it'll democratize creators, like how other tools have done. This will do as well, right? So I think with this heavy optimism that stories that couldn't be told earlier because of budget constraints, because of stars not being available, can be told now, and that's a very big deal for the creator, for the filmmaking industry. And fear is I don't think there is any fear. I think the fear only is that if you don't change, how will you survive? I mean, that happened when newspapers and print said, how can digital media survive? But today, the biggest companies are the platforms. Right? Tomorrow, the biggest companies are going to be AI companies. So I think that's a matter of adapting. People will adapt.
Thank you so much for your time.